And as is being alluded to in the chats, the first game is going to be on Dynasty, because of course it is. SHIN. Now Shin, he gets away with it a little bit because it's a best of 5, but if this was a best of 3 game, would it be Dynasty as well? 100%. 100%. SHIN. Shaking my head. And here we go, we're getting to the grand finals, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Dynasty, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player from South Korea representing Gamin Gladiators. It is SHIN. And if you're in the chat, best of luck, because it is time to Gamba. Predictions are open. Best of luck in the chat. As a reminder, and we'll be talking about the game a little bit, as a reminder, when it comes to these two players, they faced off last week. They faced off not too long ago, and SHIN actually took down ByuN in a very convincing fashion. But what I will say is that, you know, ByuN, he had spent the entire day competing and playing in tournaments, and he was very fatigued, I'm sure. And I'm sure ByuN wants his revenge as well. So this is a bit of a rematch. I say a rematch. We've actually been kind of like hosting a bit of a rivalry between these two. What I will say, in the off-season of EPT over the past month, over the past almost 2 months at this point, SHIN and ByuN have been the most active Korean Terran and Korean Zerg players respectively in these online tournaments. It's been SHIN, ByuN, and Trap as the trifecta, playing in so many online tournaments. Because of that, they play a lot. They've been playing a lot in the off-season. Just every week, it's very rare to see SHIN and ByuN not actually play against each other. So they're back. They're back once again, and they've been going back and forth. They have been going back and forth in series. So we'll see who wins this week. I say ByuN, SHIN, and Trap. I think I would say actually ByuN, SHIN, and Nightmare. I think I would say that Nightmare is maybe slightly more active than Trap in these online cups, but they're both very active. They're both very active in the online tournament scene. Not tonight though, or not today. Meanwhile, SHIN goes for the gold. Unlike his predecessor, unlike Homono, SHIN, he goes to the goal base on the correct side, on the left side, is going to be rushing into the gas geyser as well. ByuN does confirm, and it's now on SHIN to protect this expansion. Now, again, it is a bit of a meme that's been happening, but SHIN, he very often plays on Dynasty. Dynasty is one of the most vetoed maps of the map pool, but not for SHIN. SHIN, he never vetoes Dynasty in any matchup. SHIN is much more unorthodox, he's much more aggressive, and he's going for roaches. Roach Horn has been placed, and it's on ByuN to figure out what's going on. Does rotate over towards the main. And we'll see if SHIN can keep up. I mean, hey, we saw SHIN play on Dynasty earlier on versus Geralt as well. So far, ByuN scatters, and I know he gets in! ByuN, he does slip into the main, does get eyes on the Roach Warren. He sees, he knows. He's fully aware of what's going on. Now, what's important about what just happened is that ByuN, he confirms the Roach Warren, and SHIN, he stops making roaches. SHIN, he just made drones. He just made an extra wave of workers. Very important here, so the mind games. SHIN, he's hoping that ByuN overreacts. ByuN is getting a bunker. What I will say is a bunker you can salvage. You can salvage the bunker, so it's okay. ByuN is going into a 2-1-1 as well. Oh my god. 2-1-1 setup here at ByuN. ByuN is very fond of 2-1-1 on this map. Hey, we saw it against Homono as well. It can be quite powerful once Stim kicks in. So ByuN is setting up here in the natural. Really, the roaches, they threaten the gold. Now, this is why SHIN does love going roach in this matchup. I say SHIN, all Zerg players. Whenever we see a Zerg player in a ZVT on Dynasty, roaches are almost mandatory because it's the only way you can punish the gold. It's the only way here, as Lingbane doesn't touch the gold base. So really, SHIN, he's only going roach to deny mining, to do economic damage. So SHIN, he denies mining at the natural, has his own, getting a third base, droning up. Lair is almost done. Evo chamber for +1 as well. SHIN, he's looking good. He's looking good so far. He does have the economic advantage over ByuN, but the power spike for ByuN comes in a couple of seconds with Stim and with Medivacs. So this 2-on-1 double medivac push is going to hit quite hard, and it's going to be on SHIN to keep up. It's going to be on SHIN to be in position, whether it's at the goal base, whether it's in the main, at the third, at the natural. It's going to be on SHIN to try to minimize losses and to maintain himself against the Stim timing. Meanwhile, ByuN does have control of the gold now. Chasing down the Roach. Roach will fall. And now SHIN, he scouts the 2-1-1. He's aware of the Marines and aware of the drop play. So SHIN back at home, he should be amassing Roaches. SHIN is making extra Overlords because he's going to get supply blocked. Overlords are being hunted down. Oh, the supply block is brutal. There's 4 Overlords on the way. Burrow as well. I love Burrow here for SHIN. That means he will have micro potential for his army. Ravager hits the goal, gets 3 drones. 3 SCVs. Not bad. 3 SCVs go down. More importantly, this also keeps ByuN busy back at home. He stays back home, defends, and this is giving SHIN the time he needs to spread creep and make Roaches. He's making Roaches, spreading more creep, connecting his bases. Another Ravager's rotating out. You can see ByuN, he's looking for the Ravager. SHIN, he's so annoying on this map. Every time one Ravager falls, he replaces it with one more, but ByuN, he finds it. Yeah, again, he's used to SHIN. I mentioned before that ByuN and SHIN, they've been playing on a weekly basis every week for the past 2 months. And, you know, SHIN, he's now becoming a little bit more predictable here when it comes to his Ravager movement. When it comes to his Ravager harass. So ByuN, he's learning. Another Roach goes down. Again, as I mentioned before, SHIN is so quick to just send one Roach time and time again towards the space. Speaking of, somehow, another Ravager gets across the map. Does get across. ByuN is looking for it. This time it's borrowed. ByuN, he doesn't find it. Doesn't find the Ravager. What I will say is that this borrow is a new addition this time. Often SHIN, he doesn't even get it. But this time he does hide the Ravager, waiting for the opportune moment to unborrow. Another bile. Borrow once again. And just keep the aggression up. And ByuN, we spoke about his 2-on-1 stim timing. He never pushed. He's stuck at home. I mean, he threatened a little bit, but never committed. SHIN once again unborrows. Goes to the pile. Oof, doesn't get the SCVs. And he will force out a scan. Yeah, it does force out the scan. At the same time, Roach was the left-hand side, forcing out a turret. ByuN still stuck at home. You can see the Roach trying to reposition. Oh, can he get away? He will. He's going to force out a scan. He gets out of range of the turret. Does get out of range. Roach Ravager towards the right-hand side, going for the mineral line. Ooh, doesn't quite get any SCVs. But the Roach is still alive. There we go. ByuN forced a scan. SHIN trying to get... No shot! He gets out of scan range! Second scan! SHIN. Forces out 2 scans. Catches out the double drop. Only 4 Marines survive. And again, SHIN, he's just pulling ByuN apart, or really testing his micro, testing his attention, more importantly, his multitasking. Just a single Roach, a single Ravager all over the place. Catching out the double drop. SHIN back at home, getting his 4th up and running, getting fully saturated, droning up, looking quite healthy when it comes to the drone count. And SHIN, he's not maxing out on Roach Ravager, he's going Roach Ravager into Ling Bane. We have Bailing Speed on the way, we have +1 melee on the way as well. And usually, well, as he tries to get out of that scan range, doesn't quite do so, but usually this leads into Ultras. So it should be Roach Ravager into Ling Bane, Roach Ravager into Ultra, as the Hive is almost done. Again, the Ravagers and Roaches being more of a supportive unit now with the main army. Overlord's getting called out. SHIN a little bit out of position here. Losing a lot of Overlords. Getting supply blocked. Oof. A hefty supply block as well. ByuN now moving out with his own drop play. He wants the Overlord. Doesn't quite get it. He's going for a split push. Going for the mineral line. We are lacking creep here towards the north. Like, the creep tumors were sniped earlier and they haven't really been replaced. We spoke about the Ultras. There it is. There's that Ultra Cavern, as we mentioned. Again, this is very common for SHIN to go from Roach Ravager into Ultra Tech. It is very common. Now, the one downside, as you can see here, with this style of SHIN, is lack of anti-air. Because of that, there's no anti-air to hunt down these medevacs, not yet, until the Vipers. Vipers have arrived, and they can provide support with parasitic bombs. Vipers are here. Meanwhile, ByuN has been stuck at home. He's now getting his 4th base. Again, ByuN is forced to play kind of just opposed to his regular style. Usually ByuN is the aggressor. Usually ByuN is the one that's in your face, that's knocking down, you know, mineral lines and overlords and bases, and he's constantly being aggressive. But because of SHIN's game so far, because of this entire game actually, ByuN's just been stuck at home. He's been stuck at home, hasn't been able to be active. Has barely been active. And now SHIN is maxed. SHIN, he's maxed out, and this 4th base specifically is vulnerable. It's here on the low ground. You can attack from almost every angle. It's going to be on SHIN to bring it down. Here we go. SHIN, he has the Vipers ready. He's maxed. Ultra Cavern is done. Here come the Blinding Clouds. Alien Bane crashes into the tank line, crashes into the planetary as well. Yeah, 13 SP equals massive connection. Oh my god, the ghosts! The ghosts get caught out. 1 ghost survives. No, not even. Yeah, brutal losses. SHIN brings down most of the bio, the 4th expansion, and ByuN is stuck on 3 bases. That is all that SHIN needed. He's going to be able to rebuild and remax. Did he lose his Vipers? He did not. The Vipers, they survive, they get back home. Ling Roach counterattack towards the left. Tanks are exposed. 1 tank goes down. Just the 1 tank for now. SHIN has to pull away. But he's ready for a run by. Meanwhile, ByuN, thankfully, he had a backup CC. Does land. Does throw down those mules. And we'll see if ByuN can survive the 2nd wave. Now, this time he has less ghost. Only 1 ghost here in position. Meanwhile, because of the low ghost count, the ultras are going to be brutal. There are 5 ultras in production. With kindness plating. Ultra speed is still on the way, so that might not be coming into play here. Oh, another ghost? Oh my god. Gets 1 more ghost. Massive pickup. And now there's no turrets. Now we can burrow. Does burrow the roaches. He splits them up as well to force out more scans. So 1 scan for each roach. Aye, aye, aye. SHIN being so annoying with those roaches. And here comes the 2nd wave, the 2nd push. EMP does graze the Viper. But there's still 2 more Vipers behind this. Blinding Clouds connect. And Bailey's they chase down the Marines. Tanks fall as well. The CC is vulnerable. GG gets called, and SHIN, he will take game number 1. GG. ByuN again forced to be the defender here in game 1. Not really something he's comfortable with, not something that he's used to. And SHIN takes a lead. SHIN does take lead, but as a reminder, best of 5. It is a best of 5 series. We have much more ahead of us. We have more games to come. Game 2 is going to be on post-youth. Here we go. We're getting into game 2. Now, what I will say is post-youth is also a very unorthodox map. We have seen SHIN rush into the gold base on this map as well, even take the gold base as his natural. I'm referring to the gold out on the map, not the one back at home. So, again, SHIN is a very unorthodox player here, and you don't really get to practice against SHIN without playing against him. And again, we have had this kind of rivalry between ByuN and SHIN over the past couple of months. ByuN has been getting more used to SHIN over time, and we'll see if SHIN takes a lead, a further lead, or if ByuN ties us up. The pressure is on. Pressure is on the Terran, and we're loading in. We are loading into game 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Gaiman Gladiators. It is SHIN. Here we go. Crazy annoying playstyle. That is specific to the map. That is specific to Dynasty. SHIN going for the earlier Roach, the Roach army, going into Burrow, splitting up his army as well, just because you are a lot more spread out on Dynasty as well. Be a little more awkward to defend. Meanwhile, SHIN is going for his in-base natural. Okay. Does go for the in-base expansion, going hatch first. Meanwhile, ByuN opening up Rax Expand. Here we go. So for now, we're settling in. I'm curious when and if SHIN takes the center gold, and how he plays this out. Now, SHIN is very fond of roach play, very similar to Dark in that sense. Dark is also aggressive, but Dark has like different kind of... it has a different play style. Sure, they make roaches, but Dark is much more in your face, a little bit more macro-oriented as well. Regardless, I expect roaches out of SHIN. Otherwise, we could even see Muta play. Mutas can be quite effective on this map, on post-youth. We have seen SHIN embrace that in the past as well. We'll see. We shall see, as ByuN is going for a CC on location. Again, just Rax Expand, standard opener out of ByuN. Nothing too crazy so far. Of course, one of the big features of this map is just how secure you are on two bases. Very secure. Likewise, there are goal bases available as well. And because of the expansion pattern here on the left-hand side, we have seen a lot of 8 Raxes from Terran players, just going to the third, rushing into the gold, and just hammering down that, just nothing but Marines, just pure Marine tank, and just overwhelming the Zerg. See what's going to be the choice here for ByuN. Already, ByuN is mixing it up. What I'm referring to is Factory. He's going for a Factory follow-up. Last game, if you remember, it was a 2-on-1 out of ByuN. Delayed Factory into faster Stim. This time, faster Factory into Starport into potentially Banshee play. As the Reaper does threaten the mineral line. The drone's getting low, but SHIN does save them. Meanwhile, there's that third CC before Starport, so economic build here out of ByuN. Should go for the add-on swap into Hellion production, and from here he can go for another add-on swap into Banshee, or even into Liberator. We'll see. We'll see what he goes for. As Hellion production has begun. Oh, interesting. So ByuN is going 3cc 2-on-1. That is a second Rax before Starport. So this is actually quite similar to the previous game. Similar, but a little bit more greedy. The way this works here is that we should be making up to 4 Hellions before going for an add-on swap, getting the Rax on the Reactor into Mass Marine into Stim. This is going to be a later Stim timing because the Starport is delayed because of the faster CC. So again, this is more of an economic variation of 2-on-1. Ooh, and ByuN, he only makes 2. Okay. Only 2 Hellions, doesn't go up to 4. So very light commitment to the Hellions. Meanwhile, SHIN is going Roach. No surprise here. Again, SHIN, he's a Roach boy. So Roaches are going to be on the horizon for SHIN. At a later timing compared to the previous game. So much more standard here, much more safer play. SHIN defending with Queens into Roaches. Overlord comes in from behind, and SHIN, he confirms he gets eyes on both Raxes on the timing of the third CC and the Starport. SHIN knows this is a greedy variation of 2-on-1. So SHIN is fully aware. Back at home, getting into his lair. And he should be droning. It's on SHIN to drone up to take a 4th base. Lings are coming from behind, they get the first Hellion. Very nice pickup. 1 Hellion goes down. Reaper as well. And SHIN, he knows that he can cut some corners, he can drone up a little bit further before he has to be ready for the medevac timing. He does have to respect it though. Doesn't want to be caught with his pants down. Should be able to get up to 3 base saturation. So far so good. Does take extra gases though. Taking gases to afford more Roach Ravager, double Eva Chamber for +1, or for 1/1 upgrades. And we'll see if SHIN can keep up. Here we go. Sinja, how did ByuN lose game 1? I recommend watching the VODs. It was very chaotic. It was very chaotic. Basically, ByuN, he opened up 2-on-1. He wasn't quite able to be aggressive or active because SHIN went Roaches. SHIN was just all over the place, hitting the 3rd base and the 4th base, just keeping ByuN pinned back at home, and eventually just pulled him apart. It was just very aggressive, very active play out of SHIN in game 1. It was really impressive from the Zerg. Put the multitasking of ByuN to the test. But here we do see ByuN now being more active. Marines, they move out. They catch an Overlord, they supply block SHIN. And this time, ByuN gets a much earlier third expansion up and running. So this time, ByuN's got a better economy. He's able to be active on the map. SHIN isn't being anywhere near as aggressive this time. As I say that, SHIN, he is getting a fourth base, but he's cutting workers a little bit earlier. Massing up more Roach Ravager. He's trying to catch out the army. Picking up a couple of Marines. And here we go, SHIN is pushing towards the third. Remember, SHIN, he cut workers. He's going for a Roach Ravager Pure Ling as well. He's hitting before 1-1, but he wants that third. Alas, tanks are in position. No bunkers, but the tanks are here. If the tanks are ready, SHIN, he shouldn't be able to break this. Does push in, he does trade. But ByuN is secure. ByuN is secure. SHIN poking forward. He wants to try to get the CC to lift. And just a very delicate dance here between the armies. Files, they connect. The CC is getting very low. Can he get it? It's going to be close. Nah, not quite. The repairs are too good. But at least SHIN, he's denying mining. He's denying mining time at the third. Now ByuN is feeling confident. He mules. Forces back the army. SHIN, he does actually transfer over. He does saturate the gold. Making more lings. SHIN, he's actually committing. Is committing here. Again, does he have enough miles? The problem is he can't really push forward. And roaches are going down. Some brutal losses for SHIN. It does take some brutal losses. More reinforcements on the way. The base is getting low. He wants it! Oh my god, loses a lot of Ravagers though. ByuN with the punish. Takes down the Ravagers, gets the Overseer. And SHIN, he won't get the base. He will not get it. Has to back off. And the problem here is that SHIN, he was so committed. I mean, the gold base is helping. That is true, but he doesn't have a fifth. No fifth expansion. ByuN moves out with the Doom Drop. And SHIN, he's rotating around, coming in from behind. He could try to get on top of the tanks. The tanks are very exposed. Uh-oh. ByuN out of position. And SHIN, he can't commit. Catches out the reinforcements. Keep going. That's a kill, not a cancel. Tanks are exposed, boys have been pulled. And we're going for a base trade. ByuN, he drops into the natural. Tanks are falling. There's 2 tanks left. Down to 1, down to 0. Tanks are going down. Reinforcements, they're holding their own for ByuN. They're buying time. And we're just in full base trade mode now. One of the tanks does get saved. Boys are being pulled. Ravagers are falling. SHIN, he's losing too much. SHIN, he's bleeding out far too much here. The choke point is brutal. And it looks like ByuN has this. Does get the final tank, but there's only 1 Ravager left. SHIN, he lost far too much. Main base goes down. SHIN, he's down to 2 bases. So is ByuN. ByuN pulling the boys, losing a lot of SCVs. Can SHIN still pull this off? He has reinforcements back at home. SHIN, he has to pull the boys. Queens have arrived as well. It's so close. SHIN, can he hold? Okay, there's still a good amount of bio though. Still a good amount of Marines. Forced to pick up, forced to unload. The army is still active. SHIN, he's doing it. 10 SCVs against 13 drones, but SHIN has the gold. He's got the gold base, takes down the reinforcements, catches the Marines, more SCV kills. Yeah, getting 2, getting 3 more SCVs. Oh, but we are muling the third base so hard. ByuN, he races back home, he defends, he catches out the final Ravager. And we need to take a moment. Okay, a couple of things. 2-2. 2-2 just finished up, so SHIN, he does have the... Oh, he's now even in upgrades. ByuN has mules. ByuN has mules, so ByuN, I would say, has the better economy. SHIN isn't too far behind. The gold base is helping make up for the lack of mules, so we're actually kind of like in a pretty even economic state, where one player has the gold, the other player has mules. Of course, ByuN, he can recover economically a lot faster. He can make 3 SCVs at a time. SHIN, he's only got 2 hatcheries. So ByuN, over time, can outscale SHIN. On top of that, there's a lot of micro potential as well with these drops. Oh boy, we'll see how SHIN can bounce back here. I would give the edge to ByuN in this kind of game state. Goes up some creep. There's one tank here at the third. If SHIN can somehow go for a run by, that can help him recover. Bearing in mind that ByuN has half a gold as well. True, he's got the natural. Yeah, so over time, ByuN he should be able to outscale SHIN. Like 3 threes on the way as well. Now, SHIN has a couple of options. He could try to turtle and macro, or he can go for another all-in. Meanwhile, that double drop is still active. Still in the main. SHIN out of position. Means they keep up. Medevac gets very low. And SHIN, he's not droning. He's not droning. He's not getting a third expansion either. SHIN, he's focusing on purely Ling Roach Ravager. Only 2 tanks, but that's a lot of buy. That's a lot of Marines. Oof. We'll see if SHIN can break through, but I don't think he can. Yeah, plenty of Marines. We stim. We avoid the biles. And ByuN, he should be able to shut this down. The boys are being pulled. The drop has returned. Biles, they take down one of the tanks. But only one. And ByuN, he holds. ByuN, he holds. He stims. He wins. Papi. Takes down the Roach Ravager. SHIN, he backs off. He's trying to set up for a third wave. Lings, they do bypass the main army. They do catch a tank. Not bad. One tank goes down. But that's not going to be enough. GG gets called, and ByuN ties up the series 1-1. GG ties up the series. I was going to say we have an ace match, but no, we are tied up. We're getting into game 3. As a reminder, this is a best of 5. Plenty more games ahead of us. Plenty more games to come. But we have a back and forth. That's what matters most. GG. GG, well played. A wild game overall, being forced into a base trade. SHIN did have his own moments, of course, but alas, was unable to do enough damage across the map. He did bleed out far too many roaches and ravagers pushing into the main. He lost so much of his army to the production, to the reinforcements of ByuN. He ran out of steam. ByuN, less so. And with that, we're going into game 3. Meanwhile, a shout out to, oh my god, Pig El Chanchito. Shout out to Pig in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session or a cast or just stream in general. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the grand finals of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. This is our bi-weekly Open Cup, and we are in the grand finals. We are tied up 1-1, and we're jumping into game 3, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaiman Gladiators. It is SHIN. We go. Yes, we are here in the grand finals. We're tied up. It's been a pretty chaotic final so far. I do recommend the VODs if you guys are tuning in from the raid. But again, shout out to Pig. Thank you so much for the raid, for the support. We do appreciate it. As we do see SHIN opening up with a pool first. Okay. Here we go. Now, we had more of the unorthodox maps initially. Game 1 was on Dynasty. Game 2 was on Post-Youth. Now we can settle into Oceanborn instead. With that pool first, SHIN, he will be able to produce a couple of Lings early on to try to get across the map, try and delay the CC of ByuN. And it's been a while since we've seen ByuN open up 2 racks. 2 racks Reaper. SHIN would have potentially also been safe against that. But for now, he's holding onto that larva. Is banking up, and we'll be moving out. There we go. Lings are on the way. It's going to be 6 Lings here for SHIN. On top of that, thankfully for SHIN, ByuN has not sent out an SCV. So no SCV scout out of ByuN. Unfortunate, this does mean that ByuN actually won't be aware of what's going on. He won't know to keep the Reaper at home. So the Reaper should move out, the Overlord is in position to scout, and once the Reaper moves out, the Lings can move in. Oh boy. Lings, they do move out across the map. Reaper is spotted, Overlord is aware, SHIN confirms, and here come the Lings. They're going for the CC, they're looking to delay, maybe even cancel. As the Reaper is out of position, and this is all because ByuN didn't SCV scout. Lings, they head in towards the main, chasing down the Marine. Two Lings, they do head towards the natural. Boys are being pulled. CC is delayed. And remember, this is not an all-in. This is just to disrupt the economy. Those around. Oh my god. The Marine goes down. Massive pickup. Marine falls. He gets 1 SCV, 2 SCV kills. And the Lings will be cleaned up. But so far, good damage here by SHIN. Does take a lead, does delay the expansion, gets a Marine, gets a full scout. Back at home, Reaper has arrived, going for the drone. Oh, gets one. Nice pickup. One drone goes down. Queen having a hard time keeping up. And at least ByuN, he's able to reciprocate some of that damage, getting that one drone at the natural. He's looking for more. Threatens a dive. He's hoping to catch out the creep tumor. Oh! Does want the tumor. But the second queen has arrived. ByuN, he wants it! He gets it! Oh my god. Will cost him the Reaper, but he does shut down the first tumor. Not the best trade, but I mean, one drone, one creep tumor. Not bad here for ByuN. Behind this, third CC on location. Bold move. Very greedy play here by ByuN. Going for that third CC. SHIN does not see this. He's unaware. Behind this, going into roaches. Again, SHIN, he's played roach every game so far in this series, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. As SHIN is just droning up and settling down. No Lings for SHIN, so he cannot punish the expansion. ByuN will get away with the greed. Behind this, ByuN also opening up a double Cyclone. It should only be 2 Cyclones into Hellion, just for map control. Not even a Hellion. Just 2 Cyclones for ByuN, moving out, looking for Overlords, or even just straight Queens. As the Cyclones do move out. Behind this, ByuN going into a 3-1-1 setup. And will find an Overlord. Oh, doesn't quite get it though. As the Overlord does get in position. ByuN threatening the Queens. No Lings to defend. Oh, and one Queen does go down. Massive pickoff. Remember, because of the opener, no gases, no Lings. Sorry, no speed, I should say, for the Lings. So without speed Lings, ByuN, he knows that he's safe to be active like this. He will catch another Overlord. Ay, ay, ay. Another Overlord goes down. And pretty good value. Pretty good value here with these Cyclones. They back off. They do get the hell out of there. ByuN even forced out early roaches. And now we can chill back at home. We can settle into our game. Interesting. As we did go for the add-on swap to get the tech lab on the starport, single Banshee has arrived to harass across the map. Meanwhile, SHIN embracing his upgrades, of course, getting to Carapace. Lair's on the way, just the one Eva chamber for the time being. SHIN staying on the one, getting another Overlord. Supply blocking SHIN. He does move out. And again, a big reason why these Cyclones are able to be so effective is because of the opener. Because of the pull first, ByuN, he knew that there wouldn't be Link speed for quite some time, so the Cyclones were safe. So a very calculated move out of ByuN, as Link speed is just now being researched. While the Banshee's being active, doesn't quite find too much damage. Now, bearing in mind, there wasn't a big commitment for this Banshee. There was no cloak. There's no cloak, there's no second Banshee either. So there's kind of less onus on ByuN to get damage done with this first Banshee. Gets a drone. Queen's coming in with the intercept. They get a lot of hull damage, but they don't quite bring the Banshee down. And SHIN, he's just trying to tech up, settle into his economy. Fourth base is on the way. He's transitioning, of course, into Ling Bane. Roaches initially into Ling Bane Roach Ravager. And likewise, ByuN has just been a little bit more passive building up as well, at least waiting for his upgrades. 1-1 is about to kick in. 1-1 upgrades on the horizon. Once they kick in, he can move out. Likewise, Medevacs are on the way. And we'll see if SHIN can hold on and can defend against that push. I was curious if SHIN was going to go for any safety infestors before the Hive. Hive is on the way, and we do have 2 infestors in production as well. So the infestors, because of the recent, I say recent, because of the change early on in the year, they will have NG for a fungal. They will have 2 fungals in total. So SHIN, he can hold. Will rely quite heavily on those fungal growths, and we'll see if he can connect. As the army stems in. Yanni goes for the stem. Ling's being shut down. Where are the fungals? Where's the infestor? The Infestors are still on the way with bleeding out a lot of roaches. The Infestors now coming in. There's the fungal. And with that, the chain fungal, we hold. SHIN, he does hold on. Did bleed out a lot of roaches. Again, the Infestors were a little bit late to the party as they were still in production. But again, if it wasn't for the Infestors, we would have lost, or SHIN would have lost so many more roaches, potentially the Ravagers as well. But he holds. He does hold. ByuN pulls back, getting a 4cc, building up his tanks, and getting ready for the mid-game. It's building up towards the mid-game. Meanwhile, SHIN prioritizes gases. What are the gases for? For the Fast Hive, for Ultras. So it's, again, Roach Ravager into Ling Bane into Ultra Tech. We saw this from SHIN in Game 1 on Dynasty. It is his go-to. The difference here being that on Dynasty, ByuN was stuck at home. ByuN was the defender. This time, ByuN has map control, is being active. He's threatening the bases, forcing out more roaches, more lings, more ravagers. SHIN would like to build up a bank to make immortals, to make ultras as quickly as possible, but will take some time. Had to spend his resources, his money here on an army to defend. Double jump into the main. Banshee finally goes down. The drop will scout the Hive. The Hive is scouted. Doesn't quite see the Ultra Cavern, but after Game 1, he should be aware. Like, it should be in the back of his mind. And Ghost Academy is almost done. Ghost Academy does finish. Ghost in production. That's 6 Ultras on the way. Now, bearing in mind, the Ultras still need a little bit of time to really get their upgrades underway. Kindness plating, it just began. On top of that, Ultra Speed as well. I keep forgetting the name of Ultra Speed. I just call it Ultra Speed. It's like it's like metabolic disable. It's something like that. I don't know. Ultra Speed. You know what it is. As ByuN is just chilling back at home, securing himself. Planetary tanks, looking very secure. That's quite a tank line. What's it called? Hurricane engines. Kappa. But really, ByuN is just getting ready for the Ultra Tech. The last thing ByuN wants to do is be caught out in the center of the map against all these Ultras and fungal growths. So ByuN taking more defensive stance, turtling up. Meanwhile, here come the Ultras. Kindness plating finishing up in 5 seconds. Tanks are going down. ByuN barely not ready for this. Yeah, a lot of tanks are falling. The Ghosts are not quite here. And the Ultras, they get on top of the Marines. Up! Barely not. Ultras get cleaned up. ByuN, he does hold, but how many tanks just went down? 8. Ooh, 8 tanks for 6 Ultras. But ByuN holds. ByuN, he holds, and now here come the Ghosts. As the Ghost count gets higher, it should be easier for ByuN to hold. Losing 8 tanks was brutal though, but he's making 3 tanks at a time. That's a lot of tanks. Some of them stuck in the main. But again, that was also without Ultra Speed as well, so Ultra Speed now kicking in. Anabolic Synthesis, there you go, the other one. God damn it. As ByuN is just securing himself, walling off once again. I mean, after losing all those tanks, ByuN is going to be stuck at home. SHIN is maxed, and ByuN, he's just waiting for SHIN to push into him. Changelings that will confirm the tank line. SHIN is a deep enjoyer. Without Vipers pushing into this is not going to be too easy. But here comes the Ling Bane. Connecting with some of the Marines, going for the mineral line. They will bust in. The Planetary is going to barely go down. 11 SCVs as well, but the main army holds. Ooh, that's a second CC. That was a kill, not a cancel. So 2 bases going down, not too bad. Denying the 4th, ByuN double expanding. Now, there was a bit of a give and take here. So SHIN, he's trying to cripple the economy to make sure that ByuN can't really sustain his losses. Meanwhile, ByuN didn't really lose any ghosts. He lost a base, true, he lost some workers, but the ghost count is slowly building up over time. The tank count as well. ByuN does threaten some of the creep, gets surrounded, but we'll pick up. Remember, no anti-air. Speaking of, Vipers have finally arrived. They can help support with parasitic bombs. Speaking of, they should be hunting down these Betavacs. Meanwhile, ByuN, his 5th expansion has not been scouted. This is a misstep from SHIN. If SHIN was aware, after attacking here towards the left-hand side, he could have rotated over towards the right, but that is now 2 planetaries getting up and running, and SHIN, he needs to deny them. They did fall. SHIN for now focusing towards the left-hand side. Like, this base is so exposed, it's so vulnerable, but SHIN is unaware. Now rotating over. Oh, bleeding out a lot of lings. Yeah, the tank line is brutal. And SHIN, it looks like he's accepting a longer game state. Spire is on the way. What does this mean? Greater Spire, Brood Lords. SHIN, he's getting ready for the late game. He's taking more bases, taking more expansions. He's pushing towards the 5th. Nice blinding clouds. Tanks going down. Bailings, they bust into the mineral line. He's gonna get the neck. He's gonna get the planetary. 11 SCVs once again. Not bad. And I believe most Vipers, yeah, they survived. 2 Vipers got out. Base did fall. And this isn't about killing ByuN, it's just about hindering the economy, slowing him down, and taking him to Broodlords. ByuN, he does break out. The tanks once again are exposed. Lings they can bust in, but they don't quite go for it. SHIN pulling away. Double expanding. There's that Greater Spire that we spoke about. I would not be opposed to a 2nd Spire to get into double upgrades, bearing in mind that even though the Greater Spire is going to be a little bit faster, 0-0, right? There are 0-0 upgrades here for the Broodlords. Lings, they get a tank. What I will say is that the tank count for ByuN is looking too high. We'll get into that as SHIN threatens another dive. Gets another tank. How many tanks do we have? 21. 21 tanks. What I'm concerned by is that we have a lot of supply committed into tanks and not a lot of supply to protect them. Because of that, I mean, you can look at the units tab. Only 6 Ghosts, 6 Marines, and 6 Marauders. And 6 Medevacs. 666. Oh my god. But very little support. Because of that, not even with Broodlords, but like a purely Ling-based army, or I mean, even Broodlords as well, they can really pop off against this. At a certain point, like these tanks, they're hurting ByuN more than helping him. Like, where's the anti-air? I spoke earlier about ByuN building up his ghost count, but again, he's only got 6. And he's maxed. Oh boy. I mean, thankfully, SHIN still needs time to get into his Broodlords. I say that Broodlords are on the way. 5 Broodlords are in production. And against this little anti-air, 5 Broods, I mean, that can break a base. Okay, 3 more Ghosts. Okay, we're getting back into Ghost production, thankfully. How many Ghosts do we have? 6, soon to be 9 Ghosts. That's okay. Scans reveals the Broodlord, or reveals the Greater Spire, I should say. ByuN breaking out. Jesus, 8 more Brood. That's so many. Jesus. 13 Broodlords. And again, they might be 0-0, but I mean, there's no Vikings. There's very little anti-air in general. Here come the Broods. And ByuN is getting caught with this man's down. This entire tank line, it's going to go down. There's no saving it. Yeah, there's one snipe, and we even have infestors behind this. Aye, aye, aye. Thor production has begun, but this might just be too late. I feel like SHIN, he should be able to break this expansion. We'll see. Plus one air attack is on the way. Broodlings, sorry, they're getting into the mineral line. SHIN getting in position. Going for the gases. Now, SHIN, he is taking his time here, so he's giving ByuN the opportunity to actually get into Thor production. He's getting there. Goes up. Okay, get some snipes. Broodlords, they get low. How many infestors? Just 2. Only 2 infestors. SHIN getting a couple of free tanks. Snipes, they don't quite get a Broodlord. Those 2 more tanks going down. And another. And another. SHIN rotating over. ByuN trying to take an expansion. SHIN in position somewhat. And we'll delay. But without ground support, ByuN, he's actually holding on. He's holding on to the expansion, taking another base towards the left-hand side. And he's slowly building up that Thor count. Now, personally, I would like to see some more starports and a setup for a transition into Vikings. The reason for that is just because the ground can get quite congested with all these Thors, tanks, and ghosts. It can be quite awkward to engage. The sniper Broodlord. ByuN going for a split push. It looks like he wants to get rid of some of these Thors. He will gain ground. The base is given up. SHIN rotating over. Oh, the fungal! Oh, massive fungal catches out the ghosts. Only 2 ghosts left. Massive pickoffs. The base is going to go down. The Thors, they're not here to support. They're across the map instead. SHIN does get the expansion. So far, better trades here by SHIN. Looking at the ghost count, only 2 ghosts left. He's making 4 at a time, but that was a big loss for ByuN. I mean, ByuN, he did get an expansion, but SHIN, he is a bank. He can afford that. He can afford that loss. Broodlords, they take down a planetary, gaining more ground. Now, at least SHIN does... Sorry, at least ByuN has his base up and running uncontested towards the left-hand side. True. So ByuN, he can still maintain himself. And the question becomes, does SHIN rotate, or does he keep pushing? Does he push towards the natural, or does he rotate towards the left-hand side? Ah, he's rotating. Okay. Looks like he is rotating over. I mean, his creep is securing this expansion, and I guess he doesn't want to overextend. Where does he go next? Likewise, this time the Thor count is going to be ready for this. Jesus, that's how many? 8 Thors. The Thors are here. The creep spread is lacking towards the left-hand side, so there's no stack defense either. As the game progresses as well, this base is getting more fortified. SHIN pushing through the center. Massive EMPs. Yeah, the Infestors, they get caught out. Ultra's pushing forward. The Thors, they get caught in the blinding clouds. And are there enough Broodlords? Looks like there aren't. Yeah, the Infestors are going down. Broodlords being forced back. I say that. There's only 1 Thor left. And how many ghosts? Not many. The ghosts are coming in for a flank. Broodlords are trading. A very messy fight. Both armies back off. And SHIN, he remaxes. 12 Ultras! I was like, how did he spend his money so quickly? 12 Ultras on the way. Ay, ay, ay. He's crazy. I mean, he did bring down a lot of tanks earlier. Remember, the tank count has been thinned out. There's only 9 from 21. 9 tanks left. Will the Ultra Switch be enough? Broodlords, they get another tank. They try to at least. Being forced back. Then ByuN, he's burning through his bank. ByuN, he doesn't really have much gas to work with or minerals. We spoke about it earlier. The win condition for SHIN has been to deny these bases. Knock down these expansions. Now pushing towards the natural base. And here come the Ultras. And ByuN out of position. Ghost, they will shut down some of them at least. Oh, but the mineral line. Mineral line is going down, and ByuN, he can't afford this. He needs his economy. Oh my god, the snipes though. I mean, efficient trades out of ByuN, true. Very efficient. At the same time though, Broodlords are pushing into the natural, getting into the production. And ByuN is getting pulled apart. He's getting pulled apart at this point. It's less about the attention, it's more about the supply. I mean, ByuN, he just doesn't have the army to work with. He just cannot keep up with the army size of SHIN because of the bank. ByuN, he's broke. The Mule Hammer, Jesus. The Mule Hammer is real. That's a lot of mules, but again, ByuN, he has no money. Has no money, has no resources. Ultras from the other side. Oh, there is an Infestor ready for the fungal. Ready for the dive. Factory going down. Getting the natural base. Oh, should they catch out the Thors? Getting all the most efficient trades, and SHIN, he's running out of gas himself, so he's remaxing on Ling. He's got 54 Lings on the way. And I do think Lings can trade well here. Without Hellbats, without Blue Flame, this army is vulnerable to pure Ling. Again, it's Tank, Marauder, Thor. Oh, the Neural! SHIN gets a Thor. Not a bad pickup. Infestor's ready for this round. Ready for the fungals. And ByuN is all in, essentially. ByuN, he's all in with this army. We'll bring down an expansion, and SHIN, he almost pulls a trigger. We have a couple of Hellbats coming in to help out. Oh, the MP. Not quite. He gets a base, he backs off, he's establishing another expansion. He will have one mining base, double expanding even. Okay. Meanwhile, here comes the mass Ling, and we just ignore the main army. We're going for the production instead. And for the fusion core, the factories. Whatever we can get our hands on. Lings that don't quite bust into the main. SHIN has to pull away. Just maxing out, taking extra gases. SHIN likewise doesn't have the best bank either, but he's still got quite an army to work with. ByuN securing himself, throwing down turrets. His base is spotted. SHIN knows. And that should trigger SHIN to respond to this expansion. Still building on more Banelings. Infestor spreading out. Yeah, we're getting ready for the dive. Show us the fungal. Up. The Infestor from behind. SHIN pulling away. Taking ByuN's expansion. It's still a very tense moment. The army supplies are quite similar. Honestly, ByuN can still win a fight.
Assimilation successful.
With a counter EMP. Tries to EMP the ghosts. With the neural. Oh, sorry, from the tank, I should say. Neural the tank, but the Infestor goes down. Just wait for SHIN to pull the trigger. Oh, Snipes goes off. 2 Broodlords go down. ByuN, he's trading well. He's trading well, but bleeds out. Oh, a big chunk of bio. Marines go down. Tank as well. At the same time, the CC falls. And that's all that SHIN really needs to do is deny the expansion. Deny the CC over and over again. Overlords that come back in to spread creep. SHIN can over time just starve ByuN out. ByuN, he has to respond. More Broodlords on the way. Marines, they're rushing to the middle line. They will get some drone kills. Nice damage here by ByuN. Lings have to respond. SHIN could keep going, honestly. He could even just try to bust into the main. But he's holding off. Yeah, Broodlords towards the left-hand side. They're going for the fresh mining base. And again, this is all that SHIN needs to do. Just deny mining. Deny the economy. Build up his own. Gets a ghost. Base is getting saturated though, and now I'm concerned if this base gets up and running, then ByuN can max out. ByuN, he can max. And with a maxed out army, he can actually take this game. Pushing forward. Fungal, ooh, doesn't quite connect. Oh, but the ghosts are exposed. I say that, never mind. The Broodlords are exposed. The snipes, they pop off. They punish the Broodlords. Not bad. Again, ByuN, the first thing he sniped was the Overseer, so he denied any kind of scouting or any kind of detection. So very nice pickups. Speaking of, more observers on the way, Overseers even. Yeah, never again. All the Overseers. It's only 6 Broodlords. Only 6 left. Down to 5. 5 Broodlords remaining. Meanwhile, ByuN's main army is here towards the right-hand side. I do think that SHIN could rotate and respond to this. This location is actually quite exposed. Getting more SCVs. SHIN face checking with the Ultra. It's an expensive scout. Okay, 8 more broods on the way. Oof. Again, like, if this, I mean, I say if the ground army responded, like, ByuN, he's been scanning non-stop. And now can threaten the mineral line. Uh-oh. Broodlords pushing in, they do deny mining. At the same time, 17, 19 drone kills. SHIN, he will lose his own mineral line. Supplies are evening up. Again, the army supplies are neck and neck. SHIN's still refusing to rotate with his Ling Bane. Ah. What I was gonna say is because of the non-stop scans, like if SHIN rotates, there is a high chance that ByuN spots it. Scan reveals the army. Hatchery goes down. Vikings have arrived. No corruptors. Oof. Oh shit, he wants the fungal. He wants it. He's coming in. Here comes a rotation. And finally, Infestor pops out, doesn't get the fungal. But lastly, they collapse on the ghosts. And we should clean this up. Medivacs, they save a handful of ghosts, but most of the army does fall. SHIN pulls away, doesn't get into the mineral line. Yeah, the Broodlords, they weren't a part of the fight. You see ByuN responding. But there are no tanks. There are no tanks in position. Ooh, brutal EMPs on the Infestors. And SHIN trying to engage. Mainly they rush on forward. There's one Ultra as well. A very scrappy fight. Infestors go down. Hydras are coming in to reinforce. And it looks like SHIN barely has enough. He breaks the expansion, gets into the mineral line. Again, all these tanks know where they need to be. Snipes on the Hydra. Still efficient trades here out of ByuN. Some of the ghosts do get out. And it's still quite close. Like, Hydras are not really the most efficient unit that we could be working with right now. They're not amazing against a tank-based composition. But the Broodlords, though, they get another tank. And another. Good pickups. Meanwhile, ByuN taking center right. Going for another base. Ooh, snipes are brutal. SHIN stays within range. Losing 2 Broodlords. Down to how many? Down to 7. Down to 6. There's only 2 ghosts left. The Broodlords are trying to hold their own. They will take down another ghost. They barely win the fight. And SHIN, he can finally start taking a center left as well. He's going for the expansion, going for the base. Has to be careful to overextend. Snipes going off. Overseers are going down. Another Broodlord down to 4, down to 3. 3 Broodlords left. Massive tank line. And again, Ling Hydra is not ideal against this. Yeah, the final Broodlords are falling. And here comes SHIN. The tanks are on siege. The tanks are on siege. It looks like SHIN, he will clean this up. GG gets called, and SHIN, he will take a 2-1 lead and is 1 game away from becoming this week's Turtle Tussle champion. Uno más. Oh, GG. Oh my god. I mean, SHIN was in the driver's seat for most of this game. Again, he had map control, he was denying bases. Despite that, ByuN still had his own moments and he still took it, or brought it down to the wire. Still very scrappy towards the end as well. Very intense game. GG. The pressure is now on ByuN to fight back and to force the ace match. Can he bring it back? As we're loading into ByuN. Oh my god. We're getting into game 4. We'll see if we can bring it back here. So glad that camping will soon become a thing of the past. Copium. I mean, it's gonna be very different, I feel. Like there's a lot to get into. Regardless, with that, we are getting into our next game, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of ByuN, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, down in the series. Can he bounce back and bring us to the ace match? It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Red Zerg player representing Gaiman Gladiators. 1 game away from becoming this week's champion. It is SHIN. Here we go. Oh my god. Just catching up. I see some people asking about the PTR. The PTR is a public test realm. Basically, the PTR is a separate client that you download through the BNet launcher, and you can gain access to the PTR, to the patch, through that process. I believe if you go to the BNet app, then you can like open up the drop-down box and you can see the PTR there. And download it yourself if you wish. If you wish. As there is a patch on the horizon. But for now, of course, we're focusing on our game 4. And for now, we are getting into our standard openers. It's going to be a Rax Expand out of ByuN, no Crazy Proxy, no 2 Rax Reaper. Likewise, SHIN going Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener out of our Zerg player as well. Standard opener. Oh, we can calm things down. We go. And we'll see what direction our players do take us in. Again, SHIN has been playing this same Roach style quite heavily, actually, throughout this entire series. I mean, in general, it is his style here in ZVT, going Roaches into Roach Ravager Ling Bane, into Ultras, into late game, into Hive Tech. This wouldn't be a bad map for it. Again, loading into ByuN, one of the more Mac-oriented maps in the map pool. Very large, a lot of bases to be taken as well. We have a lot of late game on this map. A lot of late game. Let's see if we embrace that here as well. Some now the Reaper poking in. ByuN going 3rd CC, 3 CC before Starport. Economic build out of ByuN. Now, last time we saw ByuN go 3 CC, it was 3 CC 2-1-1. We saw that on Post Youth, and he's doing it again. That is a second Rax on the way, not a Starport. So 3 CC 2-1-1 here from ByuN. What does this mean? This means minimal Hellion production. We have 2 Hellions on the way. At most, he's going to make 4, at minimum 2. Into an add-on swap, into Marine production, into Stim, into a double medevac 16 Marine drop. Now, on the one hand, that kind of Stim timing is going to hit quite hard for ByuN, but it's going to hit a little bit later than usual because of the timing of the 3rd CC. On top of that, that means that SHIN has more time to drone. He can be greedy. SHIN, he can cut corners, he can be greedy, he can drone up, get a 4th base, especially because there's going to be minimal Hellions to punish him. As ByuN does make the initial 2, it looks like he is investing into 4. So this time 4 Hellions, then the add-on swap. So we'll have a little bit more to at least deny some of the creep. Meanwhile, so far, SHIN happily droning up, still only on 1 gas geyser. No extra gases so far, and no tech either. We're settling it. Likewise, SHIN actually hasn't scouted the main, so he actually doesn't know how economic ByuN is being yet. He's not fully aware of the build. Go. As for now, we are going to be settling down. There's that Roach one again. Shouldn't be a surprise. Once again, Roach is out of SHIN. I mean, it is his go-to. So once again, Roach play from our Zerg player. He's taking all of his gases, going for a delayed 4th because of all the extra gases and extra drones. Because of that gas income, 4th base now on the way. Meanwhile, here comes the 2-1-1 from ByuN. The medevacs have arrived. With that, ByuN can move out and can threaten the bases. Now, if you remember, we saw that SHIN, he was able to barely hold on Oceanborn with his infestors, with his fungal growths. But last here, he will only have roaches to hold on and to defend. Roaches and queens. So we'll see what ByuN can get done. The move out is spotted. Roach production has begun. Queens should be coming together. Roaches are amassing as well. Getting an Overlord. Taking it slow. SHIN given time here to build up, and SHIN should be fine. I mean, the Marines, they clear up creep, they deny Overlords, they have a presence on the map, but SHIN shouldn't feel too threatened here. Shouldn't lose too much. SHIN is getting his 4th, getting into 1-1 upgrades. Roach speed is on the way. Likewise, ByuN also getting into his 3-base economy as well. We're building up towards the mid-game. Oh my god, I spoke too soon! As SHIN, he does not join up with the 4th. The 4th is there just for Larva, and SHIN is going for a Nidus. Oh my god. Cutting workers at 3-base saturation, cutting workers at 65. Bold move out of SHIN. I mean, likewise, ByuN is still building up. There is no Overlord across the map. There's an Overseer. Headed towards the natural. ByuN is still being active. Again, SHIN has still not made a single drone for his 4th. Building up more Lings. 1-1 about to finish up. ByuN looking a little bit exposed back at home. He does have a tank line. Nidus into the main. He's hoping to distract ByuN. SHIN pushing in. Does get a tank. One tank goes down. SHIN backs off, and as he backs off, Nidus Worm, it will not finish. ByuN, he has eyes on it. He denies. Does deny the Nidus. Last SHIN busting down the front door at the natural. Gets 2 depots. And this position is still looking quite vulnerable, so only 2 tanks. Only 2 tanks for ByuN. Reinforcements have arrived. Nidus Worm into the main. There is now a 3rd tank. ByuN, he's holding. Meanwhile, Nidus will not finish. And he's keeping up with the Nidus worms. And pushing into 3 tanks. I'm not sure that Shin can pull this off. He's going to try. Splits up the roaches. He will get 1 tank. 1 tank. He does get 1 tank Marines. They hold their own. They force back the roaches. ByuN is holding. Fighting out of range of the tanks, though. A little bit concerning. Reinforcements are coming in. And Shin, there's 1 tank left. Up. It goes down. No tanks. And without any tanks, Shin, he can push forward. Boys have to be pulled. And is this how the story is? The vials! The vials connect! Oh my god. Nidus Worm is denied. 21 SCVs going down. And here come the reinforcements. Shin, we are not getting the A smash, or are we? Reinforcements have right. There's another tank. ByuN, he's forcing back the army. He's holding. He's trying. Other tank gets piled down. The tank gets piled. And again, ByuN, he holds onto the 3rd base, but the Nidus finally finishes. Yeah, finally Nidus into the main base. Armory goes down. Roaches, they bust on in. Tanks out of position. He's going for the production. Does find a CC. He can take the trade. CC does complete. Shin stops stepping forward. Yeah, catches out the Marines, forces a pickup, and he can camp the production. Another Nidus on the way. And behind this Shin, he's still not droning. Still just making purely roach. Even the contamination on the factory. Oh my god. Delays the tank. Tank has arrived. Only 2 Ravagers. Boys are being pulled. Oh, it's too soon. And boys, they bust in, and so many SCVs going to be going down. Oh god, it's not going to be worth it. ByuN losing 60 SCVs. I was hoping for an ace match, but this should be crippling damage. This should be too much. The 1 tank holds onto the ramp, but GG gets called. It's just far too much, and Shin will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's Tenacious Turtle Tussle champion. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. A very intense final game. Again, I was very impressed by ByuN. He was able to keep up with the non-stop Nidus Worms in the main. He was able to shut down 2 of them, meanwhile defending the 3rd base at the same time. Very impressive, but eventually Shin did pull apart the attention of ByuN. Eventually he broke in, got the Nidus Worm into the main base. He wasn't quite able to break the 3rd, but was able to just pull ByuN apart, attack where the tanks were not, and of course, take him in the end. GG. GG, well played. Very decisive play there out of Shin. Again, opting to go for a 3-base all-in. ByuN was unaware of the all-in until he saw the Nidus Worm, until it was a little bit too late. He was trying to set up. Remember, as ByuN was defending as the all-in, he was getting a CC. He was taking up as well. He was getting ready for a longer game state. We were as well for a while there, till we realized that, of course, Shin wasn't droning. With that, congratulations, Shin. He will take the series. Once again, bringing ByuN down. I mentioned this before. For those that are maybe now tuning in, for those that maybe do not watch the online regular weekly tournaments, ByuN and Shin are the most active Korean Terran and Zerg player in the online tournament scene when it comes to events like the Turtle Tussle, Sparkling Tuna Cup, Wardy TV Monday, the Kalaris Steadfast Rotterdam Cup, the Stego Monday, or now the Pigosaurus Cup. When it comes to all these online open cups, these 2 players are very active, and they face off very often as a result. ByuN and Shin, they've been playing a lot here over the past 2 months, during the off season of EPT, week after week after week, and they go back and forth. They go back and forth in series. This week, Shin is the victor. This week. Next week, it's probably going to be ByuN, and then Shin, and then ByuN. They just go back and forth. You know what? They're kind of like, they're becoming like the Korean version of Clem and Max Packs. Especially during the on season of EPT, Clem and Max Packs they would face in every single weekly, like every single America's weekly and European weekly. It's becoming quite similar here as well with ByuN and Shin, where they're playing quite often and quite a lot. It's cool to see the growth of their play against each other, and with that, congratulations to Shin. I should also mention, don't forget to join the Matcherino. Don't forget to join the Matcherino page. Again, if you want to help support this tournament, you can do so via Matcherino as well. !Matcherino in the chat. If you guys are interested, if you guys are curious, you can help support the tournament. Also, I did notice some of the notifications during the game. Sorry for not giving a shout out. I was otherwise distracted. I didn't want to take away from the cast. But thank you so much for the raid, Cyan. Fala galera. Thank you so much for the raid, Cyan. Of course, earlier, thank you so much for the raid, Pig, as well. And I believe there was a sub during the previous game. Oh no. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up. But thank you so much for subscribing as well. Thanks to all the support that we get in the chat, or support on the channel. We are able to fund our tournaments. We do host events here on a weekly basis, on a very regular basis. Events like Tenacious Turtle Tussle, the Sparkling Tuna Cup as well, Sea Duckling Open and Masters One Open. Plenty of events here on the Cranky Ducklings. If you're maybe tuning in for the first time, we do cast here on a daily basis. We cast more than any other channel out there. We do at least have that we do take pride in, of course. We're a very active casting channel. Ever since 2019, we've been casting a lot. What I will say is that in recent times, we haven't been casting as much. Usually we cast multiple times a day, but during the off season, there's no WTL, there's no Kung Fu Cup, so we have been casting a little bit less. We've been having some more off days, some more free days, which feels good. I mean, usually we only have like a couple of days off during the year. We usually take like Christmas off when it comes to casting, but now I've been able to actually just, you know, take a break and take a breath and sleep. It's been great. It's been amazing. Has been amazing, and I'm sure we'll be getting back on that regular casting schedule once the season does start up once again. Regardless, congratulations here to SHIN. Again, if you want to help support the Cranky Ducklings, you can do so. You can follow us on all the social medias. !socials in the chat. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. We also co-stream on YouTube, so we're live here on Twitch. We're also live on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel where we upload all the VODs on a daily basis. Plenty of VODs, plenty of content over on YouTube as well. If you are interested, that is all there, all available. Thank you. Oh my god, Jesus. Thank you so much for the donation. Nice. $169.69. Thank you for being a pillar of the RTS community. Thank you so much for the support. Gracias, papi. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Speaking of people supporting the community, shout out to Mark BT and Protostegosaurus for funding this event. For those who do not know, this tournament is 300 USD. Massive prize pool for this tournament. Half of it, of course, provided by Mark BT. The other half provided by Stegosaurus as well. So that is split between the top 4 players. So SHIN, ByuN, alongside Geralt and Honmono. They walk away with the bulk of the prize pool. So big shout out to the, of course, the sponsors. Shout out to the supporters in the chat. Thank you. Not just that. Oh my god, I just realized. Stegosaurus, he actually donated even more. Jesus. Looking at Machirino, Stegosaurus, he donated 150 and also 75 USD on top of that. Jesus. Calm down, Bobby. Calm down. Oh my god. So, I was gonna say 300 USD. No. 375 USD. Jesus. Calm down. For those who don't know, Stegosaurus, he also sponsors and he also organizes the Pigosaur Cup, which did begin this week. Pig, he is like co-funding the Pigosaur event as well, which Stegosaurus is a part of. So yeah, very passionate fan of StarCraft. Very passionate. Again, thank you so much for the donation as well to the anonymous donator. Thank you. Just catching up in the chat. Oh. Nice games, nice casting, papi. Oh, Cristiano! Oh my god. Sorry, I'm just catching up for now. I know the chat was very intense, especially after Pig's raid. So I apologize for not keeping up. I do apologize. Oh. Seems like a lot of Roach Ravager plays. It's what SHIN prefers. I will say that some of the Zerg players out there are very stylistic. Very much so. I mean, I guess Dark is kind of like that as well. Solar, less so. Solar is more of a Ling Bane player. But with that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. If you want some more content, if you want some more Cranky Duckling action, our next broadcast is going to be, I believe, in a couple of days. Let me just quickly double check. Our next broadcast. Our next tournament cast should be over the weekend. We are going to be casting the StarCraft Evolution League on Saturday and Sparkling Tuna Cup on Sunday. Again, that is our own open tournament, similar to the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, but at a more European-friendly time zone and time slot. Again, you can see our Patreon just under SHIN's name. If you want to help support us via Patreon, you can do so there as well. Our Patreon is set up to fund our tournaments and to grow our tournaments as well. So Patreon is there if you're interested. So again, it looks like we have tomorrow off. So Friday, we won't be casting. We'll be casting on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc., etc. But Friday we have off. On top of that, we are also going to be live in how many hours time? In around 7 hours. In 7 hours time, we're going to be live here on this channel with the podcast. It is not going to be a tournament cast. It is going to be more of a talk show, more of a podcast, going over the week's news in StarCraft. We've been hosting the podcast for ever since the off season, so for like 2 months, at this point, and there's a lot to go over, a lot of roster changes, a lot of player changes, a lot of tournament results, and of course the patch. We actually haven't spoken about the patch yet ourselves here on the Cranky Ducklings. We'll do so during the podcast, and also the new map pool. There's a lot to discuss when it comes to the new map pool as well. So we'll be going over that in 7 hours time, if you're interested in that sort of thing. If you're interested in an SE2 podcast, then we got you covered there. Otherwise, our next tournament cast is over the weekend. If you're curious what the StarCraft Evolution League is, that is a mod. That is an SE mod that does blend or does meld together StarCraft 2 and Brood War. They face off against each other. It's a lot of fun. It's very refreshing. Very refreshing kind of mod, and it is also really exciting to see how the meta evolves in StarCraft Evolution and which players take part in it as well. Last week, the SC Evo champion was Classic. I'm sure you're familiar with the Korean Protoss player. Classic did play for the first time. Skillous has been playing alongside SHIN. SHIN, our current champion. He's also a StarCraft Evolution champion as well, so those are the kind of players that you expect to see during StarCraft Evolution. If you are interested. What's the name of the podcast? The Pondcast, Fabi. The Pondcast. Because we're ducks. Because it makes sense, I guess. Quack. Quack. Otherwise, with that, we are going to be wrapping up. We are done here for the morning. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. And again, shout out to both Cyan and Pig for the raids. We do appreciate the support. From here, I might have a short cheeky ladder session. I wasn't able to ladder yesterday. We were just I was so tired after the cast and it was hot, and it's been getting hot here in Australia. We're getting into summer. So yeah, might ladder for a couple of hours. I also wanted to go over the new maps as well. I haven't been able to actually properly look at them, and I wanted to look at the maps before the podcast as well, so I could actually have something to say. So might be looking at those later on in the evening as well, just to see what the controversy is about. There has been a lot of talk regarding the new maps and what they entail. But until then, thanks for watching, thanks for the support. For now, I'm going to be heading off. I'm going to be going live on my personal channel. I don't ladder here on the Cranky Ducklings. We do leave this for team content and for casting. Going to be laddering over on light_VIP. So if you're interested, you can follow me there. Otherwise, thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Again, consider following for some more StarCraft content in the coming days and the coming weeks and the coming years, of course, as we've been casting here for many years already. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.